What we need is not more medication, but more education, because the best prescription is knowledge. This is Exposé coming to you live from Lagos, Nigeria, every Monday on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook simultaneously. I'm the regular host, Tony Akinyemi. Don't forget, what we need is not more medication, but more education, because the best prescription is knowledge. Hello and welcome to Exposé with Tony Akinyemi. Little by little, we are midway into January 2023 again. Welcome to this beautiful Monday evening, January 16, 2023, as we continue our conversation on female infertility. Last week, I ended my episode with suggestions for those who are believing God for the fruit of the womb, the women in particular. And I highlighted 13 tips for women who are believing God for the fruit of the womb to pay attention to. I hope some of you have started to implement some of those tips. I'm waiting and looking forward to your testimony to the glory of God. Now today, I will be talking about ovarian cysts. You know, I promised in one of the episodes that I'll be dedicating 1 or 2 episodes to ovarian cysts alone so that we can look at it in greater details. Don't forget, what we need is not more medication, but more education. Because the best prescription, as I always say, is knowledge. To be informed is to be transformed, and to be uninformed is to be deformed. So let's look at ovarian cysts in greater detail today. Now, if you are not able to finish today, we will continue next week, God sparing our lives. Now, I told you in a previous episode that baby girls are usually born with 2 ovaries. And those 2 ovaries already carry all the eggs that a woman would ever have in the course of her lifetime. A woman doesn't make new eggs in the course of her lifetime. She comes from heaven with all of them. Some scientists say approximately 400,000 eggs in those ovaries. Now, these 2 ovaries release their eggs in turn, one at a time, on a monthly basis. Sometimes both ovaries may release eggs, and then that makes it possible for unidentical twins to happen. Now, an ovary is located on each side of the uterus. The uterus is the womb, by the way. An ovary is located on each side of the uterus. So on this side of the woman and on this side, okay? An egg grows inside the ovary until it is mature and then ready to be released into the fallopian tube. That's called ovulation. And when it is released into the fallopian tube, there is a possibility of fertilization if the woman has contact with her husband. And then if the egg is fertilized, it descends through the fallopian tube, and then there will be implantation in the womb. When there is successful implantation, then that results in pregnancy. Now, the egg, every egg in the ovary is enclosed in a sac, and that sac is what scientists call the follicle. Now, so what are ovarian cysts? Ovarian cysts are therefore small fluid-filled sacs. Small fluid-filled sacs that develop in a woman's ovaries. Those are ovarian cysts. Now, most ovarian cysts are harmless, but some may bleed, some may rupture, some may cause significant pain and discomfort for the woman. Now, ovarian cysts typically resemble bubbles. You know, when you blow foamy soap of detergents, you know, and it forms into bubbles floating into the air, that kind of bubble. That's how an ovarian cyst looks like. And this can be clearly seen on an ultrasound image. It contains only fluid, and it is surrounded by a very thin wall. Now, this kind of cyst is also called a functional cyst. Now, the vast majority of ovarian cysts are considered functional or physiologic. What that simply means is that this kind of functional cysts occur normally, and they are not regarded as part of a disease process. They are things that happen every now and then in almost every woman in their childbearing years. Now, small cysts, those that are smaller than half of an inch, may also be present in a normal ovary while follicles are being formed. Now, ovarian cysts can affect women of all ages, but they occur most often during a woman's childbearing years. That is from menarche to menopause. Don't forget, I joked that women tend to like men or anything that has to do with men a lot. So when they start menstruation, that's called menarche. When they finish, that's called menopause. Okay? And when they see their monthly cycle, that's menstruation. Even when they go for taking care of their nails, they call it manicure. Okay? Now, let's come back to ovarian cysts. Most ovarian cysts are benign. In other words, they are non-cancerous. And they may disappear of their own accord, in a matter of weeks, even without treatment. Right. But then there are different types of ovarian cysts, okay? The most common types of ovarian cysts are what I want to highlight right now. The first one is called the follicular cyst. Follicular cyst. Now, this type of ovarian cyst or simple cyst can form when ovulation does not occur or when a mature follicle collapses on itself. That results in a follicular cyst. Now, a follicular cyst usually forms at the time of ovulation and can grow to about 2.3 inches in diameter. Okay, the rupture of this type of cyst can create a sharp and severe pain on the side of the ovary in which the cyst appears. Now, this sharp pain occurs in the middle of the menstrual cycle during ovulation, somewhere around day 14, 15, thereabout, okay? And about 25% of women who experience this type of cyst also experience pain. 1 in 4 women will experience pain when this cyst occurs, right? Usually these cysts produce no symptoms and they disappear by themselves, usually within a few months. The second type of ovarian cyst is called corpus luteum cyst. Corpus luteum cyst. Don't forget, the first type is called follicular cyst. The second type is called corpus luteum cyst. Now, this type of physiologic ovarian cyst occurs after an egg has been released from a follicle. Now, after this happens, the follicle becomes what is known as corpus luteum. Now, if a pregnancy doesn't occur after that ovulation, then the corpus luteum usually breaks down, disappears. It may, however, fill with fluid or blood and persist on the ovary. Now, usually this cyst is found on only one side, not on both ovaries at the same time, and typically they produce no symptoms because it is the particular ovary that releases an egg that ovulates during that particular month that may experience corpus luteum cyst. The third type is called hemorrhagic cyst. Hemorrhagic cyst. We have the, functional cyst that we said can happen in women. And the first one is follicular cyst. The second one is corpus luteum cyst. And the third one is hemorrhagic cyst. The fourth one is dermoid cyst. But let me talk about hemorrhagic cyst briefly. Now, hemorrhagic cysts are a type of functional cysts that occur when bleeding occurs within a cyst. That's hemorrhaging, it's bleeding. Symptoms such as abdominal pain on one side of the body may be present when this type of cyst exists in a woman. Okay, the typical thing that marks it out is the hemorrhaging or the bleeding. That's called hemorrhagic cyst, bleeding within the ovary, of course. And then the fourth type is the dermoid cyst. Now, it's a type of non-cancerous or benign tumor, sometimes called mature cystic teratoma. Mature cystic teratoma, that's a dermoid cyst. It is an abnormal cyst that usually affects younger women, and it may grow to as much as 6 inches in diameter. It can become inflamed as well. Now, they can also twist around, and when they twist around, this is known as ovarian torsion, all right? Compromising, therefore, the blood supply that feeds the ovary and then causing severe abdominal pain. That could be a very, very painful kind of cyst, right? The fifth type of ovarian cyst is called endometriomas. Sometimes they are also referred to as endometrioid cysts. Endometrioid cyst or endometrioma. Now, this is formed when endometrial tissue, now, by the way, endometrial tissue refers to the tissue lining the inner wall of the womb, of the uterus, the lining tissue of the interior of the uterus. That's the endometrial tissue. Now, so when endometrial tissue is present on the ovaries, that's called endometrioma or endometrioid cyst. It affects women typically during their reproductive years, and it may cause chronic pelvic pain that is usually associated with menstruation. Right. The sixth type of cyst is polycystic appearing ovary. Some people call it polycystic ovarian syndrome. Now, polycystic appearing ovary, poly means many, by the way. So when you hear polycystic, it means many ovarian cysts, many cysts. Now, it is diagnosed based on its enlarged size, usually twice that of normal cysts, and then it has small cysts that are present around the outside of the ovary. Now, this condition can be found in healthy women and in women with hormonal disorders. You see all the tiny, tiny, tiny little cysts scattered all over the surface of the ovary. And then there's a very large one right there. The seventh type is called cystadenoma. Cystadenoma, one word, cystadenoma. It's a type of non-cancerous tumor or benign tumor that develops from ovarian tissue. They may be filled with a mucus-type fluid material. Now, cystadenomas can become very large. They may even measure as much as 12 inches or more in diameter. All right. So these are examples of the common types of cysts that a woman may develop. So when they say to you that your doctor tells a woman that she has ovarian cyst, she needs to first of all establish what type of cyst. Usually they will do an abdominopelvic sonography scan, okay, to see the cyst, and the type of cyst can then be figured out by the radiologist, who writes the report of the investigation. Now, what are the symptoms of ovarian cysts? Smaller ovarian cysts do not usually produce symptoms. I mean, a woman may not even realize that she has them. They're just there. They are not giving her any trouble. However, the large ones may produce one or more symptoms, and those symptoms can vary from person to person. The symptoms may include irregular menstrual periods, which is not just as a result of the ovarian cyst alone, but probably also because of the underlying factor that may have occasioned the ovarian cyst, which is usually hormonal imbalance. When a woman has hormonal imbalance, it can manifest in different symptoms, including irregular menstrual period and the development of ovarian cyst, the development of fibroids, the development of so many other female things, okay? Now, another symptom of ovarian cyst could be long-term pelvic pain, particularly during menstrual periods. And this may also be felt, in the lower back sometimes. A third symptom could be vaginal pain or spotty vaginal bleeding, all right? And the fourth symptom could be pelvic pain after sexual intercourse. And the fifth symptom could be pelvic pain after strenuous exercise, when a woman exercises vigorously and then she begins to feel pelvic pain. It could be, I'm not saying that is the only one that can cause it, but it could be as a result of ovarian cyst. It calls for investigation so that the root cause of that pain can be established. Another symptom of ovarian cyst is lower abdominal or pelvic pain that may start and stop and may be severe, it may be sudden, it may be sharp, Any sort of severe lower abdominal or pelvic pain should be investigated to find out what is causing the pain. And one of the suspects could be ovarian cysts. Another symptom of ovarian cysts could be a feeling of lower abdominal pressure or fullness. Just feel that the lower abdomen is full and a lot of pressure there. Of course, fibroid can also cause that. But then whenever you feel those strange feelings, then it's better you see your gynecologist so you can be investigated, you can be evaluated, and then the cause of that feeling of abdominal pressure can be sorted out. Now, Another symptom of ovarian cyst is pain or pressure with urination or bowel movements, or sometimes even nausea and vomiting. Some women will begin to vomit and begin to feel nauseous. Ovarian cyst can also occasion infertility. If a woman is experiencing a lot of ovarian cyst, that can affect the fertility potential of that particular woman. Now, the next question I'd like us to address then is, what are the causes of ovarian cysts? Now, I will give what conventional doctors think, the opinion or the thoughts of conventional medical doctors, and then that of alternative health practitioners. Now, let's start with conventional medical practitioners. Many conventional medical experts believe that any or a combination of the following symptoms I'm going to be mentioning could serve as risk factors that can predispose a woman to developing ovarian cysts. Conventional medicine believes that if a girl reaches menarche too early menarche, that is when a girl has her first menstruation at an age that is less than 11 years. Maybe a girl begins to menstruate at the age of 8 or 9 or 10, maximum 11. That is early menarche. It's too early to start menstruating, but it does happen. So when a girl sees her first menstruation too early in life, less than 11 years of age, that kind of a girl, as she grows into young adults, may begin to experience a lot of ovarian cysts. That is the opinion of conventional medical experts. The second risk factor is if a woman is experiencing infertility, then ovarian cyst could be one of the factors that may be responsible. So such a woman may need to be evaluated for that. And then some women who are undergoing infertility treatment with what we call gonadotropin medications. That is medications that influence the gonads. That is the ovaries, in this case, in a woman. Fertility drugs, in simple layman's language. A woman that is taking fertility drugs may also develop ovarian cysts as a result of those medications. And then increased upper body fat distribution. When you see a woman with a very heavy upper body, and the lower body is, relatively smaller, not proportional to the size, the weight of the upper body, such women are more prone to developing ovarian cysts. Increased upper body fat distribution. Then a woman that is also experiencing low thyroid function or hypothyroidism may also be at higher risk for developing ovarian cysts. And then there are certain women who are being treated for breast cancer, maybe after their surgery, after their chemotherapy and radiation or whatever treatment they've been given, and they have completed their course of conventional medical cancer treatment, breast cancer treatment. They are typically placed on certain drugs that can help regulate their hormones, hopefully to prevent the recurrence of that cancer. Sometimes they are supposed to take those drugs for about 5 years after they completed their cancer treatment. An example is tamoxifen, Tamoxifen therapy can also make a woman to develop a lot of ovarian cysts or put her at higher risk for developing ovarian cysts. Then tobacco smoking also increases the risk of ovarian cysts. So these are some of the examples of the things that can make a woman to develop ovarian cysts. There could be more, but this represents some of the factors, the risk factors that puts a woman at higher risk for developing ovarian cysts. Now, we're going to go on a short break, and when we come back, I will now give you the opinion of alternative health practitioners. What the alternative health community, the natural health community, believes about what could be the causes of ovarian cysts. Don't go away. I'll be back very shortly.
You said we're going to do this and this and this through my life. They are not yet done, so it's not time. And the sickness that seems was going to kill me will just disappear. But if you do not engage your assignment, what will you tell God?
So the things you do triggers off something in heaven, and God responds to the things you do.
So there are things that if God forgets, he becomes unrighteous. And God says, look, I'm too holy to become unrighteous.
Welcome back. This is Exposé with Tony Akinyemi. Before we went on that short break, I highlighted the opinion of conventional medical practitioners regarding the causes of ovarian cysts. And we looked at things like early menarche, early onset of menstruation. If a girl started her menstruation less than 11 years of age, infertility and infertility treatment, that is the use of fertility drugs, increased upper body fat distribution. We looked at low thyroid function. We looked at tobacco smoking, and then the use of tamoxifen therapy, often prescribed for breast cancer patients after they've concluded their treatment, which they're supposed to take for approximately 5 years. Now, what do alternative health practitioners believe regarding what could be the possible causes of ovarian cysts? Now, among holistic and alternative health practitioners, it is also believed that in addition to what conventional medical practitioners believe, they also believe that inappropriate diet, a diet that is very high, particularly in animal products that have been raised on hormones, can contribute significantly to the development of ovarian cysts. Now, for example, consuming cow milk from cows that have been injected with hormones to enhance their milk production may increase a woman's risk of ovarian cysts. That's why, personally, one of the things I recommend by way of therapy to women who have ovarian cysts, I tell them, number one thing you have to take off your menu until your ovarian cyst resolves, or probably for the rest of your life, is hormone-laden cow milk. Cow milk produced from cows that are injected with hormones to boost their lactation. The hormones will find their way into the milk of the cow. And so when you take the cow milk, it kind of deranges your hormonal profile. And that makes you to be at higher risk or makes you prone to developing ovarian cysts. Okay, so when you indulge in animal products that are raised on hormones, whether they be chicken or turkey or cow or any animal for that matter, as long as they pump hormones into those animals to make them grow bigger, grow faster, produce more milk, then their products will be high in those same hormones, and they can become hormone disruptors in your own body when you consume such animals. That's why for those who eat animal products who are not vegetarians, we encourage them to eat grass-fed, free-range, organic animal products. Animals that forage by themselves or are allowed to eat grass and eat their natural things that they select by themselves, not the ones that are force-fed, They are force-fed with food that we have prepared for them and loaded with antibiotics, loaded with all kinds of hormones to accelerate their growth and make them reach market size very quickly for the economic benefit of the farmer. Right. Now, it is a proven fact that dietary and lifestyle changes can significantly improve a woman's health, including preventing and reversing ovarian cysts. Okay, so if a woman has ovarian cysts, the primary thing, the very fundamental thing, the first thing that I expect such a woman to do is to, first of all, clean up her diet. Remove all those hormone disruptors, pesticides, plastic, and anything that can disrupt your hormones. Because hormonal imbalance is at the root of some of these issues in women, particularly ovarian cysts, fibroid, breast lumps, and what have you. Now, so how do we resolve ovarian cysts when they occur? Like I said, some of them will resolve naturally, even if you don't do anything. But there are some of them that may not resolve naturally, and something has to be done to help you to resolve them. Now, essentially, conventional medical practitioners employ 3 approaches in addressing ovarian cysts. The first one is they can prescribe oral contraceptives. Oral contraceptives. Those are pills that are used by women to prevent pregnancy. Okay? They are for family planning. But they are hormone-based oral contraceptives. 1 pill every morning, 1 pill every morning. Now, a girl may even be a virgin. She may not even be married. But if she has ovarian cyst or some menstrual disorders, doctors may prescribe oral contraceptives for such a girl the birth control pills, the idea is to regulate the menstrual cycle and also prevent the formation of follicles that can turn into cysts and then possibly reduce the size of existing cysts. Now, I personally will never advise a woman to go on contraceptive pills because of the possible side effects, which, for all you care, includes the risk of developing cancers of the womb, of the uterus, of the ovaries, and of the breasts, okay? So that is one of the approaches employed by conventional medicine in resolving ovarian cysts. They just simply place the girls or the women on oral contraceptives, not necessarily for preventing pregnancy, but for regulating their menstrual cycle to prevent the formation of ovarian cysts. Now, the second approach is they give pain relievers, to relieve the discomfort and the pain felt when the ovarian cyst is troublesome and is giving a lot of pain to the woman. The third one is, of course, surgical intervention to open her up and then address the ovarian cyst. Those are the three principal approaches by conventional medicine. Now, for natural or alternative medical practitioners, they simply recommend a simple change in diet and lifestyle. And I have seen this help a number of women to resolve the challenge of ovarian cyst and prevent invasive surgery at the end of the day. I have worked with a number of women, helping them to adjust their diet, taking off some things that can, promote the development of cysts or promote hormonal imbalance, and then things that can help them to balance their hormones and then help the existing cysts to resolve. And this has been confirmed in many women, many women that I have helped to fashion out a dietary and lifestyle program and some supplements to go with it. Supplements like wild yam, balanced woman cream, maca, dong quai, and so on and so forth. I'll be giving you some examples towards the end of today's presentation. Now, so the following dietary rules will definitely be of immense help to any woman dealing with ovarian cysts. The first one, like I said, is avoid cow milk, pasteurized cow milk produced by cows that have been injected with hormones. For those who must take cow milk, by all means, then make sure if you can get unpasteurized organic cow milk, the ones that are produced by cows that have not been injected with hormones. But for all you care, I would say cow milk is not necessarily the best for humans because the composition of cow milk is different from that which is designed for human beings. Now, there are so many components in milk, all right? In mammalian milk, we have milk sugar, which is called lactose. And then we have a particular enzyme that helps to digest lactose, which is called lactase. Now, as human beings, the moment a child grows to about the age of 1.5 to 4 years, between the ages of 1.5 and 4 years, we as humans, we stop producing lactase, the enzyme that digests lactose. And to me, that is a signal, that's a pointer to the fact that by the time you clock the age of 4, you don't necessarily need milk anymore, okay? Because the enzyme that digests the glucose in milk, called lactose, you have stopped producing it by the time you clock age 4, thereabout, which means you're supposed to stop consuming lactose. Little wonder many people have lactose intolerance, okay? But then, apart from carbohydrate, there are also fats and proteins and minerals and vitamins also present in milk. Now, the proteins that you find in mammalian milk are essentially of two major types. We have what we call casein protein, and then we have whey protein. Casein protein is C-A-S-E-I-N, casein protein, and then whey protein is W-H-E-Y, whey protein. Now, in human milk, the percentage of whey protein in human milk is 80% of the protein, the total protein in the milk, approximately 80% whey protein. And then the casein protein is just about 20%. That's the ratio in human milk. 80% whey protein and 20% casein protein. But in cow milk, it is the reverse, the opposite. The whey protein is only 20% in cow milk, and the casein protein is 80%. And by the way, casein protein is a pro-inflammatory agent. It promotes inflammation, and it's highly mucus-forming in the human body. Okay, so it is designed to feed a calf, a baby cow, to a giant cow within the shortest possible time. So there's rapid growth and development of muscles all over the place. That is what the formulation or the composition of a cow's milk is supposed to do for the cows. But for the human baby, the amount of whey protein is far higher, and the casein protein is so low because a human baby is supposed to spend approximately 17 to 25 years to reach full biological maturity. So you don't want to pump that baby with what will make the baby grow full, and become like a giant at the age of 10 or 12. Okay, that is not the intention of the Creator when He created us and gave us the composition of milk that we have. Now, in the animal kingdom, one animal whose milk is almost exactly the same composition as human milk is the goat. That's why goat milk is actually prescribed in Proverbs chapter 27, verse 27, as the choice milk for human consumption. Okay, Proverbs 27:27. It says, you will give your household, and particularly your maidens or your ladies, goat's milk. Goat's milk, because the whey protein in goat's milk is also 80%, just like human milk. And then the casein protein is just about 20%, just like human milk. So it's very, very compatible with human milk, all right? So for those who have ovarian cysts, that is the first thing that you need to take out: cow's milk and all other animal products raised on hormones. The second thing is anything that highly promotes hyperinflammation in the system. Anything that is pro-inflammation. And a big example is monosodium glutamate, MSG. It is present in most food seasonings, taste enhancers. All those sachets that you find in noodle seasoning is loaded with MSG. Now, if you have ovarian cyst, I don't think you should be consuming MSG in whatever form. Now, another thing that I would suggest you take off your diet is margarine, and then fried food because of trans fat, and maybe lard and shortening, then refined and highly processed foods, particularly processed meats like corned beef, like bacon, like sausage, like hot dog, like ham. You can't afford to be on those. You need to clean them up, okay? Then white flour products, artificial flavors, artificial sweeteners, and what have you. These are all things, artificial colors, that you need to remove from your diet. That's part of cleaning up your diet. Now, the second thing I would suggest, after cleaning up your diet, removing all of those things, the second thing is for you to adjust your ratio of cooked food to raw food. What percentage of your food consumption in a day should be raw food, and what percentage should be cooked food? My suggestion for those who are dealing with ovarian cysts is that you should increase the percentage of raw food that you eat in a day to about 70% of your total food intake for the day. And then your cooked food should not exceed 30% of the total food that you consume in a day. In other words, on any given day, consume only about 30% of your food intake as cooked food. Rice, beans, eba, amala, yam, potato, what have you. All of those things, not more than 30%. And then eat the remaining 70% as raw food. How do you eat them raw? Your raw food will include things like fresh fruits, pure, vegetable salad. When I say pure, the word pure there is very instructive and emphasized. Pure vegetable salad. In other words, you must not add sliced eggs and pasta and corned beef and mayonnaise and what have you to that salad. It must be pure vegetable salad. Everything in there must be vegetable. Okay? And then you can add raw nuts. You can add like raw almonds, like cashew nuts. You can add avocado pear. All right? If you want to spice it a little bit more, you can add sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds. You can add a little bit of raisins or dried, fruits in order to kind of enhance the flavor. And then you can also take freshly made smoothies. These are all raw foods that you can take. Vegetable juices, smoothies, fresh fruits, vegetable salad, nut milk, and what have you. All these should constitute about 70% of what you eat in a day. That means that for your breakfast, for example, you can take any of those smoothies or raw vegetable salad and what have you. By the way, I did a book on juices and smoothies for healing, health, and pleasure. If you don't have a copy yet, I recommend that you get a copy of my book, Juices and Smoothies for Healing, Health, and Pleasure. You'll find it on Amazon.com. You can also find it at Havila Bookstore for those who are in Lagos, Nigeria, or any part of Nigeria for that matter. and they can ship it to you. It's also available at the Shepherd Store, at our church office in Ikeja, 18 Shogule Street, Abule Onibabo. And then I recommend, particularly if you are dealing with ovarian cyst, you are dealing with fibroid, you are dealing with endometriosis, you are dealing with even breast lumps and fibrocystic breast disease and what have you, all those hormone-related female issues, I highly recommend, highly, that you make it a date with avocado. Eat 1 avocado pear a day. It helps a great deal in balancing your hormones. Now, if you look at the avocado, it's actually shaped like the womb of a woman, all right? And the avocado is always carrying a baby. It's always pregnant. So for me, that is the signature of God in nature. It's a pointer, indicator, telling us that this thing may have something to do with the womb of a woman or fertility. So eat an avocado a day. Tiger nut is also very, very good in helping with hormonal balancing and helping you to resolve ovarian cyst, fibroid, and what have you. So your smoothie could be something like this. I mean, I'll give you this recipe for free. You don't have to pay for it. Just get tiger nut milk, like 1.5 cups of tiger nut milk, pour it into your blender. You know how to make tiger nut milk. Well, just soak your tiger nut and blend it and then sieve it. Maybe I'll talk about that later before I finish. So tiger nut milk, like 1.5 cups in your blender. And then you peel your avocado, remove the seed, okay? And then you need the flesh that looks like butter. That's the one you put inside your blender. Then you can sweeten with banana. You can add 1 or 2 fingers of banana to it as a sweetener, okay? You can use mango if you like. If you're diabetic, you don't want too much of high glycemic fruits in that smoothie. You can use stevia as your sweetener. You can use lucuma as your sweetener, all right? And then you may want to add a little bit of ginger, like half a ginger, into the recipe. You may want to add a teaspoonful of, turmeric powder, or if you have fresh turmeric roots, just 2 simple fresh turmeric roots, and then maybe 4 cloves of garlic. You peel them, then you add them to it. If you have omega-3 oil, like fish oil, liquid fish oil, or flaxseed oil, or Udo's perfected oil blend, that's omega-3 oil, you can add 1 or 2 tablespoonfuls, maybe 1 tablespoonful of coconut oil as well. Now, you blend everything together into your smoothie. You may want to add some greens if you like. If you want it to be, chocolatey flavor, you may want to add 1 tablespoonful of carob powder, carob, C-A-R-O-B, all right, carob. And if you want vanilla flavor, you can add a few drops of vanilla, and that creates a very creamy, tasty, wonderful smoothie for your breakfast that helps in balancing your hormone. So the avocado and the tiger nut are actually the 2 things for hormonal balancing. Now, the turmeric and the omega-3 oil, those ones are anti-inflammatory agents and anti-angiogenic agents. I've spoken about that in the past. So that is it. And now, you make your milk from tiger nut. Like I said, the Yorubas call tiger nut ofio. In Nigeria, the Hausas call it aya or something like that. And in the East, the Igbos call it Hausa granite, something like that. So if it is fresh, you soak it in water after washing it and cleaning it. Soak it in water at room temperature for just about 2 hours. But if it is dry, wash it very well and then soak it for about 12 hours. You can soak it when you're going to bed at night and then overnight. 12 hours later, you blend with a little water in a very strong blender. If your blender is not strong, you won't be able to blend tiger nuts because it's a little bit hard. Now, so you put the blended nut now, you put it inside a piece of cheesecloth or white piece of handkerchief that's very clean, and then you squeeze out the milk out of it. Now you put the milk in your blender, add the avocado, add the banana, add the other ingredients, blend it, everything together. It makes your beautiful, creamy smoothie. You drink a glass or 2 every day to balance your sex hormones, your estrogen, your progesterone, your luteinizing hormone, your FSH, your prolactin, and what have you. And then once your hormones begin to balance out, then you find out that some of those female issues, particularly ovarian cysts, begin to resolve. Now, the 4th suggestion I have for you is if you're obese or overweight, target achieving your ideal body weight and your ideal body mass index, because when you're underweight or overweight, it's not a good idea in this situation. Now, my tip number 5 is regular moderate exercise. 20 to 30 minutes exercise, 4 to 5 days a week, will help you in resolving your ovarian cyst. Of course, exercise alone will not do it, but it's part of the combo. It's a complete package. Then if you're a smoker, if you smoke tobacco, please stop it. If you're a passive smoker, you stay in the same room with somebody who smokes regularly, you need to also do something about that. Then make sure you drink enough clean water so your body is able to detox and remove all the waste from your system as your body is cleaning out. Never get dehydrated. You may also want to use some supplements like an iodine source supplement like energy iodine. Not the regular iodine in your first aid box. That one is toxic. This one is edible iodine. You can actually put a few drops in water, like 5 drops or 10 drops in half a glass of water and drink it first thing in the morning every day, Monday to Friday. You rest on Saturday and Sunday, then you start all over Monday to Friday like that. Or you can use triple iodine complex in capsule form, or sea vegetables such as modifilan, that is brown seaweed, or spirulina, or chlorella, or kelp, or red marine algae, or blue-green algae. All of these sea vegetables are very high in iodine. Okay, a trace mineral that helps to improve both your thyroid health as well as balance your hormones, particularly estrogen. Then supplements like wild yam capsules or wild yam cream or balanced woman cream also can support your hormone balancing. Then vitamin D3, at least 2,000 IU a day, helps to boost your immunity, to absorb minerals, and then it also helps in various other ways. Now you can also spend maybe 30 minutes to 1 hour under the early morning sunshine before it gets hot to build your vitamin D level if you don't want to take the vitamin D supplement. Turmeric, I've mentioned that in your smoothie. It's an anti-inflammatory agent and a liver cleanser. And then a good source of omega-3, which I mentioned, either flaxseed oil, fish oil, or udo's oil, which is also anti-inflammatory and anti-angiogenic. Then milk thistle and dandelion. These are for liver cleansing, because when you are detoxing all these excess hormones in your system, your liver must be on top of its job. And milk thistle and dandelion actually helps. Then fruits like chasteberry are very, very good also in balancing hormones. Now, so all these supplements, when you take them, they work synergistically to help balance your body chemistry, help to resolve several female issues, ovarian cysts, breast lumps, uterine fibroid, fibrocystic breast disease, FBD, hormonal imbalance, infertility, and what have you. And I also recommend my 30-day challenge dietary program for those who already have developed ovarian cyst or those who are prone to developing ovarian cyst. When you do that, maybe at least once in 6 months or probably once in a quarter, just spend the first month in a quarter to kind of detox your system with a proper diet and lifestyle guideline, which is my 30-day challenge. It's in chapter 7 of my book, How to Regain and Retain Your Health. Now, I recommend that you get a copy of that. We also have a newsletter number 15 that also propounds the 30-day challenge. It's also available in DVD, and by the way, it's available also on YouTube. You can go to our YouTube channel and just put the 30-day challenge and put my name, Tony Akinyemi, and then it will bring my own 30-day challenge, because I found out that there are other people that have also done 30-day challenge. But this one, you have to put Tony Akinyemi in front to bring my own version of it to you. Now, I have tried to customize it for the African context in particular. Of course, it's doable in every part of the world, on every continent on the planet. Now, so this effectively brings us to the end of the discussion on ovarian cysts. Next episode, we'll be looking at something entirely different. But then, before we bring this season to a close, I intend to invite some experts again and interview them on fertility and female issues, maybe also childbirth and a few issues relating to, the family. I bring in consultant gynecologists and obstetricians and so on and so forth, so they can share their wealth of knowledge and experience with us and take us to a higher notch on this particular theme. Thank you for spending your beautiful Monday evening with me today. The Lord bless you. Have a wonderful week ahead. Bye-bye.
You said you are going to do this and this and this through my life. They are not yet done, so it's not time. And the sickness that seems was going to kill me will just disappear. But if you do not engage your assignment, what will you tell God?
So the things you do triggers off something in heaven, and God responds to the things you do.
So there are things that if God forgets, he becomes unrighteous. And God says, look, I'm too holy to become unrighteous.